get it. But isn't the strongest lead we have the adeptiless right of party?
Despedida carinhosa, a gente deve procurar o Zhongli.
No idea where Zhongli's gone. Let's ask for him at Wangshan Funeral Parlor.
Vamos lá dar um oi pra ele.
Is there anything I can do for you two?
Tem algo que posso fazer por
I'm afraid that
vocês?
Wangshan Funeral Parlor isn't in the best
A gente
state
quer ver
to
o
receive
Zhongli.
guests.
We've come to see Zhongli. Could you please tell him we're here?
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment.
Não tá aqui?
It seems he went to
Foi até o
Northland
Banco do
Bank.
Norte?
Doesn't the Northland Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was booked. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Fatui we had better go and make sure that every...
Por que o cara... Por que ele tá lá se envolvendo com os Fatui? A gente destruiu o deus maligno da água lá e quase morre por uma passarela.
Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Ei, que é esse... que esse cara tá aqui?
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure
O que o
you
Zhongli
must
tá
have
fazendo com essa
enjoyed
galera do
that.
mal aqui? Zhongli, não me decepcione, rapaz.
Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And... you! You're also one of the Harbingers?
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the city of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as...
No, don't let her get to you! You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements. And our last battle, so it might be best to keep things peaceful this time, seeing that 2 of the Harbingers are here.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map.
Cara, eu não quero bater papo
This
com
is
você,
certainly a
mano.
bit awkward, wouldn't you say?
Para de querer entrosar.
We should never have trusted a Fatui Harbinger.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. The real deceivers here are Senhora
Verdadeiros
and
enganadores
Zhongli.
aqui são
Curse
Senhora
them
e
for leading
Zhongli.
me on.
Por quê?
So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind.
Você se lembra do acordo, Morax? Agora, por gentileza, a Gnosis, por favor. Como assim, a Gnosis?
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled.
O contrato foi cumprido.
That which thou
Aquilo que
seekest is
busca
now
te serás
bestowed unto
concedido,
thee.
pois minha promessa é
For
sólida
my
como pedra.
promise is solid as stone.
Caramba!
How sanctimonious.
Era você o tempo todo? Então o Zhongli é na verdade o Rex Lapis.
What? So you're the Lord of Geo?
Ele é o Arconte Gel?
No, wait. That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give it for free.
Não
I
estou
give it
entregando
as agreed upon in
deliberadamente.
the contract.
Entrego segundo o que foi acordado no contrato, pois isso é um assunto exclusivamente entre mim e a Tsaritsa. E por que você fingiu a sua morte?
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you and splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky and all of Liyue goes into an
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was
Isso fez
bound to
reunir
boil
todas as
over.
forças que tinham borbulhado
That's
nos
what he wanted to
bastidores
see. Am I right?
e fazendo elas estourar. Era isso que ele queria ver?
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain.
Ele vai explicar.
As you know,
Tenho vivido nesse mundo por mais de 6.000 anos. Testemunhei a fundação de Liyue junto com os adeptos há 3.700 anos. Mesmo os rochedos que podem suportar turbilhões de água sofreram erosão com o passar do tempo.
I kept convincing myself that cracks had not begun to form, and that the end of my time had not yet come, until one drizzly day.
Até um dia, quando eu estava vagando no porto, ouvi um comerciante dizer para o seu empregado: "Você fez bem no seu trabalho, agora volte para descansar."
Go ahead and call it a day. I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself, have I
O Zhongli
already
tá
finished my
cansado.
duties?
Tá cansado de ser o arconte, é isso?
Oh, Zhongli.
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role,
Quando
I soon discovered
Quando
that many
começou a considerar
reasons still
abandonar seu papel
remained to not
divino,
hastily
descobriu que muitas
depart.
razões ainda restavam para não partir.
Was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already
Será que
prepared to
Liyue,
enter
onde
its
viveu
next
por tanto
age?
tempo, estava preparada para entrar na
I
próxima
decided that
era?
a test was needed in order to
Então
reveal
decidiu
the
fazer um
answer.
teste. Caramba! Ele queria testar se o povo de Liyue ia conseguir se defender numa crise? Foi isso?
So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liyue Chising to play their roles together on the stage that was... Indeed I was.
Ficou
The
satisfeito com o
gnosis
final.
which I had kept for so many years suddenly seemed to have lost its meaning. That's right. Which is why I continued to safeguard the gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your
É por isso que o
divine
cara
powers
tá com o
to bring
meteoro.
life back under
É,
control?
provavelmente. Provavelmente. Não tem nenhum personagem que simplesmente tira um meteoro do bolso. Acho que faz sentido por ele ser o arconte.
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Liyue matured when faced with the death of its deity.
I was pleasantly surprised with the finale of the show that you all put on. Why, you even deserved an
Ficou
encore.
impressionado com o espetáculo? Vocês até merecem bis? Não, obrigado! Que tal não, obrigado?
The Adepti deserve the greatest applause, considering their years of seclusion. They hardly recognize the city, yet faced with... And hats off to the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract, Signora. She managed to keep everything she knew in strict all the while, I carried on as Zhongli, and fulfilled the traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. Thank you for walking that path with me, traveler. These things were all a part of my script.
Todas essas coisas
The
faziam
only
parte do meu
unforeseen
roteiro.
plot twist was
A
the
única
conduct
reviravolta
of
na
the Liyue
trama
Chising.
que eu não havia previsto era a conduta do Tishin de Liyue. A Ningguang?
I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti,
Esperava que eles não fizessem nada, além do que o mesmo que os Adepti.
but when all was said and done,
Mas quando chegou o momento da
they
verdade,
seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue's divine
aproveitaram a
protectors,
oportunidade para
and
substituir
used
os
the
protetores
subsequent
divinos de
power vacuum
Liyue.
left by my death to quickly gain complete control of Liyue.
Usaram o vácuo do poder deixado pela morte dele para obter rapidamente o controle completo de Liyue.
That doesn't sound...
On the contrary, I think it is
E
excellent.
ele acha isso bom.
I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone
E quanto a
feel
você,
the
ninguém
least
liga pra
remorse
você,
for
cara.
deceiving me? You've practiced.
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god, the lump of
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? Hey, haven't you learned the Liyue saying? Don't always call it as you see.
Well then, with the gnosis in my possession,
Bom, mas
I
agora
have
ela
no
tem
use
o
for such
a
idle
Gnosis.
chatter. We should return to
Eu não acho que isso é uma coisa boa.
audience with Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa. Come,
É
child.
hora de voltar ao Palácio Zapoliarny. Buscar uma audiência com a Majestade Tsaritsa.
Ah, fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not.
Do as you wish.
Ah, e essa mulher vai escapar mais uma vez.
Now then,
Talvez a gente ainda não tenha
is
poder
there
pra lidar
anything
com
else
ela.
you wish to ask me?
Apesar que a gente tem o Zhongli do nosso lado. O que poderia valer uma Gnosis?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair
Uma boa troca é uma troca justa. O que ele ganhou
idea what could be a
por ter
good trade
entregado
for a
isso?
gnosis.
Realistically speaking, there is no such thing.
Não existe tal coisa?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts.
Como Deus dos contratos, durante milhares de anos, fez inúmeros contratos.
Then I certainly would not be inclined to agree to it. My agreement with the Cryo Archon will be the last
acordo
of
com o
my
Arconte
contracts as the
Crio,
Geo Archon. My
Será os últimos dos meus
contract to
contratos,
end
como
all
Arconte Gel.
contracts.
É o tão chamado contrato para terminar com todos os contratos.
As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your future
Você mesmo vai ter que
journeys.
revelar a resposta nos próximos dias. Ele não vai falar pra gente em troca de que ele deu o Gnosis pra ela. Bom, só nos resta sair daqui agora. Caramba, que reviravoltas tivemos hoje, não?
Today's the day of the rite of parting.
Hoje é o dia do ritual de
Although the
ascensão.
show is fake, we spent so much time trying
É
to
verdade, eu tinha até
understand it.
esquecido.
It would be a real shame not to go there now.
Eu tinha até esquecido, a gente preparou tanta coisa pra ver esse ritual. Mas aconteceram tantos contratempos que eu até esqueci dele. Olá, senhor.
You know that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean,
Yes, and to think that it's...
say, do you think the person who is...
Now that you mention it, that's very... I mean, it all fits together. That person Still, what sort of supernatural...
Ah, forget it. Get...
Bom, o pessoal tá aí falando sobre toda a treta que aconteceu.
Well, since we're going through with this rite of parting, so Rex Lapis is really... Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been... There's only one real possibility in my mind. The Fatui? They Shh! Lower your voice.
Vamos ver o que vai acontecer aqui.
Hear ye all! The Chising's words.
Ouçam as palavras dos Chishin.
Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. The gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. So too must they face divinely appointed trials.
E o ritual vai começar?
Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex
Há
Lapis
rumores e boatos
was
pelas
murdered.
ruas que Rex Lapis foi
Now,
assassinado.
let the truth be
Agora,
revealed.
que a verdade seja revelada.
Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul
A alma
has
de Rex Lapis
recouped
ascendeu
the
aos
celestial
céus.
heights.
E suplica
He
ao povo de
beseeches the
Liyue
people of Liyue
que não
to
se
grieve not,
entristeçam
and to let not their
e que
hearts
não
be
deixe seus
saddened.
corações se aflijam.
Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
Não devem acreditar em rumores de rua ou se entregarem a especulações sem fundamento.
Paimon needs a translation on what the Chising... So that's how they're... Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how could the Chising already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? Did Zhongli tell them in secret after his gnosis changed hands?
Será que o Zhongli contou em segredo a eles o que aconteceu depois que passou a Gnosis? Pode ser.
Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the rite of parting has been going on for a while.
Olha a galera aqui. Prontos pro ritual.
Look, it's Ningguang
As said previously, Rex Lapis's soul returning to the heavens is the end of the contract. And it is also the end
O
of
retorno
an
da alma de
era.
Rex Lapis aos céus é o fim do contrato e o fim de uma era.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to...
We, the people of Liyue, were indeed prosperous.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among us.
Ah, essa moça também tá aqui. Olá.
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell.
É hora de dizer adeus.
Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts? As we build a new age of prosperity?
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Eu? Olá.
Yikes, she really is looking our way.
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
Parece que os rumores se espalharam do viajante que ajudou a derrotar o deus ancião.
So young.
The Liyue Qixing always repay their debts. And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price.
Diga-me seu preço. Você merece o suficiente. Opa! Vamos ter uma recompensa? Vamos ter uma recompensa?
Whoa.
Seria uma boa hora pra você começar a falar, hein?
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
Ele falou. Bem, você poderia me ajudar a colocar alguns cartazes de pessoa desaparecida? Ah, em troca ele quer que a galera ajude a encontrar a irmã dele. Muito bem.
But it's, well...
Perhaps...
Roping you.
Ih, a gente tem que voltar pro Zhongli. Olha ele ali.
Hey, Zhongli! Look at this! Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions, thinking that they'll never see Rex, and here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease?
Ele tá
after
aliviado
laying down
que
the burden I have borne for
tá se aposentando,
3,700
digamos assim.
Right. If the two of you can spare the time.
Ha! That sounds like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout, but you'd have to pay out your nose just to stand inside Xinyue kiosk. Are you sure you can afford it?
You're right. I do like the Mora.
Ele convidou a gente pra jantar num lugar caro, mas esqueceu que ele não tem dinheiro.
As the Rex Lapis Morax, I can easily create Mora. But since I have chosen to walk this
Como
earth
Rex
as the mortal
Lapis,
Zhongli,
Morax
I should abide
poderia
by the same
facilmente
rules
criar
that
Mora,
move
mas
this
escolheu caminhar na Terra como o mortal Zhongli. Então deve seguir as regras que os mortais seguem, bom? Mais um personagem, sem dinheiro.
When I was journeying with you, though I still had the gnosis in hand, I knew that I must...
Oh, no wonder! Paimon gets it now. But since you weren't used to not being able to just...
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. In the city of commerce, we do not merely exchange money or good. The Archon Morax could never experience life as the true mortal Zhong. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli. That is true. But there is no journey that does not end. No meetings without partings.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search
Devemos
for
dar
the
um passo adiante e continuar a busca pelo 7.
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea,
A nação vizinha de Liyue pelo mar é Inazuma. Está atualmente fechada.
Yes, the nation has been closed by order of its deity, the Electro-Archon
O Arconte
Baal.
Electro Baal.
And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis,
thinks we've heard that one before.
O nome dele é Raiden?
Right?
That is the case.
Raiden? Sério?
And since Raiden is also the shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Zhongli, since you're Rex Lapis, shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed nation?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans, but if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, this is what visions are. Magical foci
As
bestowed upon
visões
those who have
são
been
focos
acknowledged.
mágicos presenteados pelos deuses. O quê? Reconectando ao servidor? Como assim? O quê? O quê? Hã? O quê?
Hey, Zhongli, look at this.
A gente voltou no tempo. A gente voltou no tempo.
Here you are looking.
Right. If
Como é que isso aconteceu?
you're right. I do like them.
Como é que isso
more.
aconteceu?
As the Rex Lap, when I was
Isso foi
journeying.
estranho.
Oh, no, but since you weren't...
Well, we were only in the city of Commerce, the Archon Mor. I will treasure the memories that I made as
gente
that
já viu
is
isso?
true. I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that yes, the Electro Arch.
Paimon?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu.
Eu também não sei porque que todos os personagens, os personagens mais legais do jogo, digamos assim, não tem dinheiro. É o caso do Zhongli e da Mona.
That said, Zhongli, since...
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstance, but if a person shows truth, this is what
As
visions
visões
are.
são focos mágicos presenteados para aqueles que foram reconhecidos pelos deuses.
That's how people into vets?
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating
A
the Vision
partir
Hunt
desde o ano
decree.
passado, o Shogun Raiden começou a promulgar o decreto de caça à visão. Caramba, ele tá caçando todo mundo que tem esse poder, tipo o nosso personagem, e etc.
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize
Uma
all
ordem de
visions
apreender
within
todas as
Inazuma's
visões de dentro
borders,
das
and
fronteiras
to
de
inlay
Inazuma.
them upon the hands of a statue of the
Colocá-las nas
thousand-armed,
mãos de
hundred-eyed
uma estátua do deus de 1000 braços e 100 olhos.
They want to seize visions. But what?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings.
Whoa, that's harsh.
O cara quer ser o retentor de todas as visões.
The Animo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts.
O Arconte Animo é o deus da liberdade. O Gel, deus dos
It
contratos.
seems as though she has
E o
finally
Raiden
decided to eliminate any
é a
unstable
deus da
elements that
eternidade.
could pose a threat to her eternal realm.
Ela quer eliminar qualquer elemento instável que possa representar ameaça ao seu reino eterno.
The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now, knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage, 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is nearest unto heaven. All right then. Was there anything else you wished
Tem
to know?
mais alguma coisa que eu quero saber? Bom,
That said, I hinted as much to... How did I accomplish that, you ask?
tem muita coisa que ele pode contar pra gente aqui.
Have you ever heard of this particular... All right then. Was there anything else you...
Yeah, about that. Before the Chising made their announcement, we listened to a...
These are indeed false accusations. But it remains undeniably true that Child did send people. I've heard that Ningguang is busy milking that for all it's worth on the foreign... All right then. Was there any... The time of the... Kuching is absolutely... Now, though I did laud Ningguang's desire for power, believing this to be a good thing, could the original person who... All right then. Was there anything else?
That's right. Zhongli, now that you don't have your
Essa é uma boa pergunta. Agora que você não tem mais sua gnosis, como é que você vai ganhar seu ganha-pão, sua amora?
Since Morax is... Also, isn't the Golden House the only mint in the entire continent?
The Mora present now will not vanish. But the Golden House will indeed have to cease operations for a lengthy period of time, since creating Mora
Olha
requires
só, a
the
casa
use of
da...
the Geo-Archon's power.
A Casa Dourada precisa do poder do Arconte para criar as moedas, a Mora.
This is terrible. We're all about
Todo mundo tá prestes a ficar sem dinheiro, não é a crise?
Yes, this is indeed a major issue. Well, I suppose we'll just leave such
Ele vai só deixar para outra
troublesome
pessoa
matters to the
resolver
Neo
isso.
thing to debate.
Then, did you at least set some private fund?
Oh, a private fund.
What's a shame?
It's a shame that I didn't think of it at the time.
Ele esqueceu de reservar um pouco de dinheiro para ele, para viver como mortal. Parabéns. Parabéns.
All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know?
Em termos de dinheiro, Zhongli não tem dinheiro.
Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation.
E assim a gente conclui esse ato. Oh, legal. Missão concluída. Legal, 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 legal. Caramba. Foi uma sessão e tanto, galera. Foi uma sessão e tanto. Olha, e a gente acabou aqui com as missões da história. Acabamos com as missões da história. Temos aquelas missões especiais aqui pra abrir. Acho que a gente agora pode abrir essa aqui, né? Ah. É uma missão do Zhongli. Tcharam. E tem outra ali. Que é do Child, que a gente pode desbloquear também, olha aí. A gente vai poder fazer essas no futuro. Muito bem. Bom, sendo assim, galera, vamos encerrar a nossa live. Foi uma tarde bem produtiva, cheia de aventuras, cheia de reviravoltas, cheia de ação, cheia de drama. Foi incrível. Valeu aí, todos que passaram pela live. Fiquem com aquele grande abraço. E a gente se vê nas próximas.